So the question on everyone's mind these days is, what's Vladimir Putin going to do next? I'm Andrew Weiss. I'm Vice President for Studies at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace in Washington, D.C. For the past few years, I've been engaged in what's probably the oddest project of my professional career. I've written a graphic novel about Vladimir Putin. In my book, Accidental Czar, The Life and Lies of Vladimir Putin, I try to chip away at the larger-than-life persona, the superhuman cartoon character who dominates a lot of our political life and pop culture. I try to look at who Vladimir Putin actually is, and also to try to explain to people the emotionalism and impulsivity that has dominated much of his career. All of that is on display right now in the criminal war in Ukraine. It is the biggest foreign policy blunder of Putin's career, but it really fits with a broader pattern of overreach and emotionalism. Without a doubt, the war in Ukraine is the single biggest black mark on Putin's record. But let's not forget, Vladimir Putin bears the distinction of having lost Ukraine twice before. And so a year ago, when a colleague of mine and I co-authored an article explaining why war was coming, we looked at how restoring Russian domination over Ukraine was the single biggest piece of unfinished business on Vladimir Putin's desk. Actually, one of my main motivations in writing this book was the impact of the 2016 US presidential election. After Russian interference in the election was revealed, it created a myth of Vladimir Putin as super spy. Suddenly, Vladimir Putin came to dominate American political life and our pop culture in ways he never had before. But as much as people were understandably fascinated by the dark arts of the KGB, they totally misread who Vladimir Putin is. They made him out to be something he wasn't, and the Kremlin loved every minute of it. The depiction of Vladimir Putin as a larger-than-life superhero also airbrushes one inconvenient fact, that the Russian intelligence services leave big messes all over the world. One of the most profoundly awkward experiences in writing this book was when my editor told me, "You need to be a character in it too." I was an aide to President Clinton and worked for him in the White House. I was with him on the day the Russians secretly told him that Vladimir Putin was going to be the next president of Russia. It was not a happy moment. There's one really important yet underappreciated element of continuity between the Vladimir Putin I met at the White House 20 plus years ago and the leader who's at war in Ukraine today. It's a man who loses his cool, whose impulsivity and emotionalism often get the best of him. For more than 20 years, the Kremlin has deliberately been turning Vladimir Putin into a cartoon character to make him a magnet for our attention. We need to strip back those myths and look at the man for who he actually is. Please have a look at my book, Accidental Czar, The Life and Lies of Vladimir Putin, to understand who Vladimir Putin actually is and why he's such a formidable force on the world stage.